Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our 6th edition of Advanced Technology Program in Agriculture, Global Dialogue on Agtech around the theme Technologies to Mitigate Climate Risk. With India holding the G20 presidency this year and CII being the B20 Secretariat, this dialogue is part of CII's B20 engagement. And over the past 3 days, we are being joined by global speakers from key G20 countries. Agriculture both contributes to climate change and is affected by climate change. The increasing temperatures are resulting in reduction of yields in key crops while encouraging weed and pest proliferation. Further, changes in rainfall patterns are increasing the likelihood of short-run crop failures and long-run production declines. On the other hand, to meet the demands of a growing population, the global food production must increase by 60 to 70% over the next 3 decades. To mitigate climate risk, the agriculture sector must adopt scaling up of technologies that help improve yields to achieve production with the right food quality with minimal use of resources. Given this background, CII has curated sessions which will deep dive into global advancements on technology by providing an opportunity to listen to global solution providers about their technology and explore opportunities for their adoption with respect to climate change in India. This is our first thematic session on the 3rd day of the dialogue. This session will focus on controlled environment agriculture. The term controlled environment agriculture encompasses a variety of systems that take a technology-based approach to farming. The key benefit offered includes optimal growing conditions throughout the development of a crop and control over many of the uncertainties that cannot be checked in a conventional outdoor growing environment. This session will focus on indoor farming aided with IoT devices and monitors, aquaponics, vertical farming, etc. We have with us an illustrious panel of innovators today, and to chair this session, we have with us Dr. Praveen Singh, Founder Director, Prayag Policy Research and Innovation Institute, and an urban farming expert. Dr. Praveen is an agriculture professional with over 20 years of experience in different fields of the agriculture sector, ranging from rural development, academic research, agri-businesses, high-tech farming, and hydroponics. Over to you, Dr. Praveen, for taking the session forward.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to CII for giving us an opportunity to be a part of this really important discussion. Not only the discussion, as you rightly said, on one hand, we have a challenge to feed the growing population. On the other hand, if we see, we are facing a challenge of the climate change. The climate adversities. Because if we want to just feed the population, we need to at least ensure the minimum level of a production or expanding the production. So the option left with us is expanding vertically. Means how to ensure more production per unit area by minimal or efficient utilization of all the resources responsible for ensuring you're productive. If you see, apart from other challenges, other risks in something kind of a climate change, the agriculture, one of the sector which is going to struggle to an extent of where we will be able to even not able to meet the growing requirement. A 1 degree increase in temperature is going to impact productivity in such a way that we will not be able to get what we have been getting from any normal field. Having said that, I like to introduce the panelists who have set some examples, who are contributing for the growth of agriculture and ensuring the impact or minimizing the impact of climate change. So today we have with us Rajendra Kumar, who is working with one of the innovative company, Cravo. They are giving a solution, the retractable greenhouse, where you can say that a grower have an opportunity, or having that ability to give a controlled environment, as well as whenever the conducive environment is there, they can ease out, they can give a natural environment to the crop. So that technology is picking fast in our country as well as across the globe. Then we have Dr. Naved Sabir, none other than a scientist who has contributed significantly for the controlled environment agriculture, and he's working with Center of Protected Cultivation in India's premier agriculture institute, that is IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Then we have Kendall Lang, who is engaged with the vertical farming from Puerto Rico, and he is really contributing for ensuring the kind of a productivity, kind of a return we are expecting from agriculture. We also have Dr. Praveen Kumar Singh, who is also working with Center for Protected Cultivation in IARI. He is having a long experience in crop production, and specifically the seed production or a crop breeding, which is one of the kind of a tool, or going to be a tool by which we can produce a varieties by which we can ensure a productivity under changing microclimate. Then we have Surinder Makhijaji, who is a pioneer in the field of protected cultivation, and specifically if we talk about the water management. Because once we talk about this protected cultivation agriculture, the irrigation, the water management is the key for ensuring success. So, my dear participants, whoever is connected across the globe, once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So we are going to structure this whole 1 hour or 1 hour 15-minute session in 2 different segments. One, every panelist is going to share their views on the technologies or on the areas they are working. Post that, we'll have some interaction on emerging kind of queries and questions, and we will also consider questions from the participants, who are a part of this global dialogue at agriculture technology. So let's just start and hear from Rajendra Kumar, that what they are doing and what something like how they are contributing for mitigating the climate change risk. So over to you, Rajendra.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. Let me share my screen. Thank you, Dr. Praveen, for setting up the stage for today's important discussion. And I also thank the CIA for giving this opportunity. And I'm also my co-panelists that who are expert in the protected cultivation and participant. I welcome all of you for this presentation. So, as the Dr. Praveen has given me this topic, controlled environment agriculture, and how to mitigate the climate risk. So all of us know that most of growers produce the crop in the open field seasonally, and we have a lot of challenge due to climate, heat, cold, wind, rain, hail, and also the insects. So now the climate change is giving the biggest risk for all of us. So how to provide a solution for the food security of the population of the world? So major climate factor that all of you know that which affect the crop production, sunlight, precipitation, temperature, wind. But if you see that all of these, although they are all very major factor, but precipitation is a very important along with the temperature, because we are having unseasonal rain, hail, that is destroying our crop either at the flowering stage or at the harvesting stage. Similarly, the temperature also has gone up, as Dr. Praveen has told you, all of us earlier. So uh, I will just give you a quick overview of the different protected cultivation technologies available in the country. So we have actually polytunnels, which are actually good for a small operation or in the cold climate, but not for a tropical condition. Net house, they do very well in tropical climate for summer production. But there are challenges during rainy season and during winter also. Foliage houses, they are the best for extended winter production, or you can say the for mild locations, but not for the peak summer or rainy season in the tropical locations. We have the fan pad, which is best for year-round production, except for there is some challenge in the high humid area, and also consume the lot of power, but it's economical for urban farming type of projects. So now this retractable roof structures, they are good for tropical and mild location, but not for the extreme cold like Leh Ladakh, where the snowfall is very heavy. So during last 3 decades, we have learned from the conventional this technology, greenhouse technology, that stationary poly shade net roof have many advantages and disadvantages, but it's impossible to prevent all the problems. And there is also reduction in the revenues due to these factors. So I will skip there. So I have actually grouped the as per the climate risk that into two category. One, structure as per the temperature. So as I told you earlier that tunnels are best for winter production in northern plains and during summer at the higher elevation. So you can see that here that where we have a cold climate or winter, cold winter, there we can work with the tunnels very well. And net houses, they are good for tropical locations like desert type of climate, like you can see here in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, and Aurangabad, Maharashtra part. So they are very good for summer, but not rain, because they can't prevent the rain. And also in some northern locations like Punjab, during winter you have a fog or smog, so that reduce the light availability, so it will reduce the yield during that period. Natural ventilated polyhouse, because government of India has promoted during last 3 decades, so a lot of structures are there, but they are good for extended winter production, but have a challenge during the hot summer or the rainy season. So while going for this type of technology, you should consider the mild climate or at the higher elevation, they are very good for. Or you can say that for the winter production. Fan pads are now becoming very popular for urban hydroponics farming. So a lot of people are adopting these structure. Glass houses, they are good for temperate climate, but not for tropical climate like in India. And they are costly, very costly also. So retractable, the technology that Cravo has introduced. So that has a very huge potential in this tropical climate. and we are working for the last 8 years, and we have done a lot of commercial projects in this region. So as for precipitation, again, as I told you that net house not suitable, tunnels only at the higher elevation. Now the rain shelters like tunnel type structures, they are coming up. They are actually good for rain protection or hail protection, but maybe not for because they for a very hot climate. But these structures are coming up good for the fruit crops mainly. So polyhouse already that they is 100% rain protection. As I told you that retractable roof, they are very good for rain protection and also the hail, but not for the snow. For now, I will not repeat now. So you understood now. So let's go for a brief.
Today, more people around the world than ever before are integrating fruits and vegetables into their diets. And as a result, retailers want to have stock available all year round. But there are several big challenges that growers like you are facing to meet this increasing demand. Extreme and inconsistent weather patterns result in inconsistent supply. Input costs are frequently rising faster than selling prices. And insects cause massive damage to crops at the same time as consumers demand that their food is produced with minimal chemicals. So for you, the challenge is how to have predictable and consistent supply when the weather is inconsistent. For over 35 years, we've been working on the solution. Introducing the retractable roof production system, which creates a more consistent growing environment for farmers in warm and hot climates. When the weather is ideal, the roof will automatically retract, allowing the natural outdoors to come inside. When cold, rain, or hail comes, the roof will automatically close to protect the plants. And when there is high summer heat, the roof closes 80% to protect the plants from direct sun, while also allowing for ventilation and cooling. The system is very efficient, as it requires only 1 to 2 kilowatt hours of electricity per day, per hectare, and requires minimal water for cooling when temperatures exceed 35 degrees Celsius. Cravo houses have proven to resist damage from hail and major storms, such as hurricanes and cyclones. By working with Cravo, you can create optimum growing conditions year-round to produce crops with larger size, with higher yields, longer shelf life, extend.
So sorry, actually there is a problem with the this video. So let me. So sorry for this technical problem. A retractable roof technology actually it's a nature plus protection, as Dr. Praveen has already said. When you have a good conditions outside, roof remain retracted. It will close only when you have a high summer temperature heat during summer, 35 plus, or you have a less than 15 during winter, or you have a rainfall or storm or something like that. Means that when you have a adverse condition, only then the roof will close. Otherwise it will remain open. So if you see that, if you calculate out of 365 days, how many days that you have adverse conditions? So normally, if we consider the Indian condition, we have a 60 to 80 days when you have some adverse condition for your crop production. Otherwise, out of 365 days, you have almost 250 to 300 days. They are very good for crop production. So that's why we are having very good crops here in
Rajendra,
India.
sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
can you quickly move?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So we have 4 models that I have already, as you see in the picture. Flat roof is the model that for tropical dry location, you can consider this as a better option for this net house because in the flat roof you have you can do some rain protection in this. And X-frame is the model you can consider against the poly house because this model not only the rain protection, but you can do the summer cooling, you can do the some sort of winter protection also. And then these model rafter and A-frame, they are for specialty type of application. At rafter house is designed for 170 kilometer per hour wind speed. So you can see that normally it is used for the nursery purpose. A-frame you can use in any extreme condition where you have a very high wind speed or something like that. So I will skip this. So you can see the flat roof structure. So very good for tropical dry location, X-frame for humid climate. You can see a lot of crops here. Then flat roof, rafter house, sorry. So I will skip all these. And A-frame is the top model actually. So we have started Indian operation 2014 actually. So I sold the first project in 2015. This is for Namdhari seed. So they are using this structure for R&D purpose for breeding and foundation seed production. And then we did a project in Pattaya in 2016 for the leafy and herbs. And then we did this project in 2017. So Dr. Praveen, credit goes to the Dr. Praveen because he is the person who has designed this whole model. I can say that it's a very unique facility where you have a retractable roof structure along with the fan and fed house. So both are same structure, same growing type system. You can, if you want to have a comparison between the two different technology, so you can go and see this facility. It is all due to Dr. Praveen. So in this house that we have done here, because the Delhi climate is very unique, summer very hot and winter very cool. So we have two different layers of cooling roof here. Then in 2018, we have done this project in Pattaya for forest nursery production. And 2019, we have done this project in Qatar for vegetable production. And this is one of the state-of-art project that we have done in India, in Hyderabad, called Simplifresh. It's a 25-acre facility, growing leafy herbs, berry, tomato, bell pepper, cucumber, many crops, even a nutraceutical also. So this project is operational since 2019. And then we have done this project again in Telangana, in near Hyderabad. So they are growing all type of vine crop, like color capsicum, cucumber, melons. So this is a 15-acre single structure. Then during the COVID, actually, we did one of the largest project in India, that is for 115 acre in North India. So to grow the blueberry, you can see the crops here. So this is a very big achievement. Now we are coming up with a very new model. It will be very good for a fruit crops, or you can say some of the field crops also. And this will be one of the cheapest retractable roof structure that we will provide to our customer. So let's see the video.
What the cherry, grape, and berry industry has been wanting for years is now available. Introducing Cravo's Auto-Dry Automatic Retractable Rain Shelter Systems, the newest member to the Cravo family of retractable roof houses. We've combined Cravo's 40 years of experience with retractable roof and drive systems with conventional rain shelter technology to be able to automatically close and retract hectares of rain shelter coverings in minutes. You can now eliminate or reduce losses due to frost, rain, hail, and sunburn, while simultaneously maximizing fruit size, firmness, and bricks without any labor. This is real automation that will drastically reduce your labor requirements seasonally and during weather emergencies. And best of all, the price per hectare is the lowest of all 5 models of Cravo retractable roof houses. Patent pending.
So it will be a game changer product for our climate in India, because our fruit crops like grapes or pomegranate or mango, so many crops that we lose during we have a huge losses during either in the flowering stage or in the harvesting stage. So this type of technology actually are very good for our climate and crops, and price wise also that it is a one of the cheapest retractable roof structure with automation. And we are planning to have a make in India, so that to avoid the import duties also. So in nutshell, that this is the summary that type of technology that are available and which are suitable. Every technology has advantage and disadvantage. So thank you very much. So I will stop here.
Thank
So
you.
thanks,
Thank you, Rajinder.
yeah.
Thank you. So it is something like kind of a stationary greenhouses to even rain shelters. So it's something kind of a shift from one standard to kind of a new technology. So after listening
Yeah.
kind of a commercial views, let's go to Dr. Naveed and get his experience on something like this topic. And yeah, just a little request, Dr. Naveed, because we are running out of time. So be brief. I think that you will honor my request. So over to you, Dr. Naveed. You are on mute, Dr. Naveed.
Very good afternoon, everybody. I am Naveed Saver. I am principal scientist in this Indian Agriculture Research Institute Center for Protected Cultivation Technology. And the topic is so relevant, and it has been so nicely set in motion by Dr. Praveen with his vast experience into this area. And as far as climate change is concerned, this agriculture, protected agriculture, actually started apparently to save or take additional crop during cold seasons in the cold countries and technologically advanced countries. But seeing the advantages and seeing the off-seasonal options of these structures and seeing the higher level of productivity and quality and the kind of entrepreneurial mode of this high-tech agriculture and progressive agriculture, a lot of people came up into this sector. And in India, that is why the government gave a lot of to this technology, mainly to spruce up the nutritional security also, because the horticultural production, the horticultural crops not only bring the food safety, food security, but also the nutritional security. And nutritional security along with pulse crops, these two areas were very important in India. With the advent of the climate change, this technology came to play another stellar role of addressing the climate, whereas it was to bear the cold season. Soon it was realized due to the climate change and global warming, this kind of agriculture was going to be very critical, not only for growing different crops, but also for conservation of germplasm and all those, that kind of thing. There were a lot of limitations of investment, limitations of the kind of the crops that could be grown. But within the last 10 years, we have seen so many different varieties of the crops. With the change in the technology, was Mr. Rajendra Kumar said that earlier the orchards were hardly anything to do with protected agriculture. But now we are seeing different facets of protection in the area of many crops are being grown under the greenhouses or shade net houses, but also the partially controlled structures, the retractables that Mr. Rajendra Kumar also said. So with the advent of the climate change, with the advent of the technologies, and with the introduction of the newer technologies, with the area under the protected cultivation is increasing. Climate change in terms of due to intensive agriculture, due to increasing population, due to increasing industry, due to increasing population, it is all the more relevant. And with the technology, we always have hope. Just 2 days back, we are hearing that the fusion technology has made a breakthrough, and the entrapment of the energy and maybe the future of storable fusion energy produced by fusion, nuclear fusion or other fusions. It will be like unlimited sources of energy. The game will change, and the rigors and the difficulties induced by industrialization and all this pollution, these things will start reverting. So we have 3 different aspects. Number 1 is climate, number 2 economics, number 3 is like food security, food safety, and nutritional safety. These are the aspects that we have to see. These connotations also change with the regions. The affordability has different meaning in different parts of the world. The technological, the prowess or the knowledge, the strength of the people, the adoption level varies with the economic status of the people, the regional specificities, the crop diversities, the choices start to change with these things. I'm a man of basically integrated pest management and GAP, working in the area of food, the food safety areas, because of you see, the protected agriculture has a totally different level, and the level of the it is reaching through vertical farming. The level of productivity that is reaching through this technology is amazing. We have to use this technology as an opportunity to pay back to the environment. So this opportunity of high productivity has to be converted into some kind of economical and environmental gain to pay back to the nature, to give the land back to the nature, to give the recyclable opportunities to the climate. And with this, the technology can play a very, very good role. The protected agriculture, on the one hand, is taking technology at a different level, and the open field crops are facing the climate change vagaries. So these, while for some people it is totally unaffordable, totally irrelevant, but for the way it can contribute, so these things will continue to run parallelly. So protected agriculture, some 10 years back, I wrote in one article that it is precise, progressive, and parallel agriculture. So the opportunities in protected agriculture addressing the environment, food safety, food security, and nutritional security will run parallelly. And we have to take advantage of this technology. The larger the number of the people will join this technology, This is the game. Like Mr. Rajendra Kumar showed, the Cravo retractable structures, most of the top-end structures are not affordable to most of the people. But the high priority crop, niche for niche markets and export markets, these structures can really change the game. On the other hand, it is the economic affordability of the structures that we have to talk about. We have to simplify the structure, reduce the barriers of economic affordability. Even at the government level, it is highly required that there has to be some margin of error or margin of acceptance at the level of governance while releasing the subsidies and all. The structural options with the farmers are one of the challenges. Until that will happen, until reduction of the cost will happen. I recently saw one of the models from Top Mahindra where they are reducing the cost very, very grossly, and they are creating net houses on wire framed structures. So the moment the masses will gain this area, the affordability will also increase, and the address to the climate change by larger number of people will also increase. So structural options, structural opportunities is the first and foremost thing. Second foremost thing regarding the food safety is understanding the limitations. Understanding the limitations means, you see, or Mr. Praveen's background, I can see all leafy vegetables. These are maybe organic in by USDA latest definitions, but in India they are not organic. So these we have to again be very liberal on the definitions, whether it is conventional agriculture or whether it is organic agriculture or IPM based agriculture or gap based agriculture, or shall we call simply a safe food production regimes. So these definitions, the game of definitions also has to change to take full advantage of these technologies. So the structure, as I said, the choices, the options, the quality, the material, lot of awakening on even the material and the quality and the approvals at the government level for this quality and affordability, as I said. Then a lot of knowledge base in when you have to involve masses for the larger adoption. The first and foremost priority of the technologies is to simplify the technology and take it to masses, and the knowledge will play a very, very important role. In country like India, the knowledge for the protected cultivation technology is largely missing. People think that they will make a greenhouse and the magic will start. In fact, the day you make a greenhouse, it is the problem that starts, because even the investment level is high, so the risk is high, and that is why the panic rate of high, and that is why at times the intensive use of chemicals also start in the hurry to recover the money invested. So these are the problems. I often say that agriculture means the best opportunity is in agriculture is volume. Everybody needs food, but volume cannot be attained in the greenhouses because you need so large investment. So the only opportunity is cluster-based approach, cooperative-based approach, FPO-based approach. So these are the areas which have to be run like parallelly with this thing. Then there are researchable issues on food safety, like the chemicals that are acceptable. Many bleaching agents used often in the hydroponic-based agriculture. They are a risk. They are a risk, and the different forms of hydrogen peroxide or whatsoever the chemicals that are used, these are very, very highly researchable issues, and just because of high investment requires these things. So these are my some concerns for climate change. It is wonderful opportunity to address. Number of crops under the basket are also increasing in the protected agriculture. But food safety and the technologies around food safety inside the greenhouse on account of high investment remains a challenge for most of the growers. IPM-based approaches can help save production. So these are some of the issues that I wanted to highlight. Maybe we will listen to some more people, and I'm available for any takes on that. Thank you very much for this opportunity to CII and Mr. Praveen for nicely putting up things. There are so many things to say, but time is limited. Thing is that we have to highlight and underline the hitting points. We have to hear. We heard nice presentation by Rajendraji. We are dying to hear Candil Lang and Mr. Makija sir, and Praveen, Dr. Praveen Kumar Singh is my colleague. Again, very dynamic person. For us, he is like a जिसको कहते हैं घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, लेकिन but he is a very bright scientist. We are waiting to hear him also. So this is wonderful, and I thank the CII very much for giving me this opportunity to share this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Naved. As always, something like be on time and restricting yourself on the boundary of a time. It's really good. And you rightly said that there is a lot of challenges are there, and until and unless we developed technology reaches to the masses, will not be able to fight with what we are talking about, the climate change. So yes, it is required to make the technology affordable so that should reach to masses of our globe, not even the country. So let's hear from Kindley Lang that what he is bringing for us, and how he is going to contribute for the cause we all are here. So over to you, Kindley.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen real quick. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation. This is a great forum to explore very important topics. And so I'm going to share the aquaponics journey that we have been on for 4 years in Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is, of course, in the center of the Caribbean, but it is a U.S. territory, so it's treated very much like any state in the U.S. And so I'll be referencing things that are kind of ubiquitous across the continental U.S. as well as in other territories that are also controlled under the USDA. So we are focused on controlled environment agriculture. And I wanted to just show real quickly a picture of our building, because we are unique in that one of the challenges in the Caribbean is that it's called Hurricane Alley. And every season between July and November, we run the risk of being hit by a hurricane. 5 years ago, we had Hurricane Maria, which was a direct hit to the island, where 84% of all the farms were wiped out. And since then, only 34% have been restored. So it's a very challenging environment, not only because of the hurricanes, but also because of the high heat and the humidity and the pests and all the associated things that happen in terms of traditional agriculture. So we went to the government, and unfortunately, the pharmaceutical industry, as you may know, 20 of 21 top pharmaceutical manufacturing companies were located in Puerto Rico for the tax incentives. These buildings were constructed in the 60s. They are concrete, basically warehouse and manufacturing facilities. And we took this facility over. It's a concrete facility. It has 17-foot clear heights. This is an 11,500 square foot building. And we have created an indoor farm in this controlled environment. So it's not a typical farm. When you come visit us, and we welcome you to come visit us in Puerto Rico, you drive through an industrial park. There's 100 other buildings around us. It is not a traditional looking farm. So what we've done is created some very unique things. But I just wanted to highlight, in addition to climate change, there are some very significant impacts that we are trying to address with our model. As everybody knows, the politics of the global world are impacting us. Inflation is having a severe impact in the price of food. Climate is certainly an indicator that we're trying to address as well, and then population. So from a geopolitical perspective, the war with Ukraine, Russia, a lot of people have not focused on what's going to be food scarcity, because there's going to be 18 to 22 million fewer metric tons of food coming out of Ukraine. Now, there's also the problem of fertilizer. So Russia is a major producer of chemical urea fertilizer, which has been restricted and banned in the US, which makes it hard for farmers to, number one, get traditional fertilizer, but also the costs have escalated. So you're seeing as much as a 25% reduction in total production for traditional farms because of that issue. And that means, where's our food going to be grown? How are we going to be able to feed our populations? So as I mentioned, food prices have increased. Global food production, just because of population increase, has to increase. And so if we're not making more farmland, we're losing farmland. How are we going to do that? Well, several of the speakers have effectively talked about being more efficient horizontally. And what we're doing is talking about being more efficient vertically. So when you look at all of these impacts, what we're talking about is hyper-local tech farms for food manufacturing. And so how we put that together is through an aquaponics system, which I'll show a slide in a second, which talks about an ecosystem. But we really have services, which are aquaponics technology. We're creating an open farming platform, which is essentially data centers for food production, because there's a lot of technology, a lot of science. And so how do you aggregate that science into a way that is shareable? And we're doing that through an open source farm collective. And then for the manufacturing, how do you create verifiable, trusted sources that are food safe and follow food safety protocols? And how do you negotiate those food rights and those food contracts? So one of the things that we are doing is that we are consciously and specifically intentionally attempting to break the global ag supply chain. Now, how we're doing that with our products and services really quickly is we've created a repeatable, scalable infrastructure. So we do a variety of standard processes in terms of that, which is, site evaluation, the permitting process, sourcing materials. The global supply chain has been definitely impacted. If you look at the interesting pieces that we're focusing on is really that COVID has also changed the world, just like Amazon changed the retail marketplace. So when we look at expanding controlled environment agriculture, it's focused on physical structures that already exist, that are in distressed real estate markets, that can be quickly converted from an empty building into a producing farm. So that dynamic in virtually every major metropolitan area in the US, in any city that you go to, there are distressed real estate of big box retail that has been basically become vacant, or they are in very economically challenged areas where retail tenants have left because Amazon has changed the retail world. So it makes these facilities very affordable at these distressed prices. And so we go through this infrastructure list of planning, the construction process, the design, and so forth. And then we layer into that traditional real estate perspective, the aquaponics, the servicing of that, the management of that. So in terms of why using aquaponics, our perspective is that it is a complete system that is not only fruits and vegetables, but it's also a protein source. Now, aquaponics is the combination of hydroponics, which is growing in water, and aquaculture, which is the on-land production of fish. So we have 4 different varieties of fish that we use in our system, but the fish are really the nutrient engine for the whole system. So we don't use and have no dependency on outside fertilizers. We actually, I'll show you a slide in a second, where we actually grow the plant proteins that are used in our own fish food that we manufacture, that becomes part of the model for a micro grid system. But at the highest level, we have developed what we consider a very efficient lower CapEx, or what does it cost to build these facilities, by taking over distressed real estate and converting it. We have a very low operating cost compared to other controlled environment vertical farming operations. We are located in the US. There's a special tax incentive area called qualified opportunity zones. We take advantage of local rainwater. So we are rainwater harvesting. So we have no dependency on local municipality for water. We will be implementing solar and wind. So we will be completely microgrid from an energy standpoint. And everything that we're doing, because we are mirroring Mother Nature from the standpoint of all of the good things, we have quality organics because we can't put any pesticides or herbicides on the plants because it would kill the fish, and we can't feed the fish any hormones to grow them faster because then you have to introduce antibiotics to treat the disease that comes from hormone use because that would kill the plants. And so it's a very symbiotic, very much mirroring Mother Nature. And you can see in this picture, it's a 5-level system. The top level is cut off in the picture. But you can see we're growing a wide variety of plants in these different levels. Now, what's unique about our technology is that we have created a double cantilever rack system. And the challenge and the problem that we've solved is twofold. One is water is very heavy. So most aquaponics operators and hydroponic operators are single level because of the weight of water, right? 1 gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds. Each one of these grow troughs in the system has about 200 pounds of water in it. And so the movement of water up and down, you have a fluid dynamics challenge that we have solved through pumping and head height of pumping. And then you can see that this rack system, there are no corner posts and no center posts. So we have unfettered access across each grow level. So it makes it very efficient, very low energy. Every level has LED lights in it, and it's very efficient.
Kendall, sorry to interrupt, but a little fast, okay? Because we are running out. The 2 speakers are waiting. Yeah.
Sorry about that. No problem. So this is a diagram that, yes, we are a controlled environment agricultural operator. And above the blue line, you can see, all of the diagrammatic steps of what that system is to get to vertical growing systems with the fish tanks and the grow rooms. But from our standpoint, we also have an outdoor component. So we're growing moringa trees. We're doing outdoor fermentation reactors for compost creation. There's a variety of revenue sources. The most important thing in this model was focusing on we grow moringa that becomes the protein source for the fish food that feeds the tilapia that then produces the nutrients that become the nutrient system for the leafy greens that we grow. So the key factor here, why do we say hyperlocal? We want the food production as close to the consumers as possible, which disrupts the supply chain. We reduce the food miles, which means we reduce the carbon footprint, we reduce the costs. And so getting that food production is important for all of those climate mitigation issues, but it's also because of the nutrition. The faster you can get food to people, the higher the nutrition level is in that food. Now, we have a whole variety of benefits. This slide production will be available, can be sent out to the audience, and happy to share that. So there's just a variety of benefits to this structure. Again, focusing on the net zero opportunities for carbon reduction, zero waste. These are all on our radar screen. And then, so we grow food, we sell food, and we build farms. And in that process, we've created a farm in a box, which is really, this is a list of the steps that we go through where we really treat farming as a service. So we're creating both the farms that we own and farms that we train others to work with us to build out in this very efficient process. So just a quick picture. This is the commercial scale systems. These racks are 56 feet long, 17 feet high. And again, no corner posts, no center posts. They are designed so that you plant at the head end. And one of the revolutionary features of this is we've broken these into quadrants. So we have a 28-day growth cycle in this system for all of our crops. And because we've broken it into 4 quadrants, we can harvest every week. So we are the first operator with the grocery stores here in Puerto Rico where we have delivered 52 consecutive weekly harvests of the same quality, the same quantity that has never been done before. So this is revolutionizing how grocery stores deliver to their customers, and it's an extremely important innovation that allows consistent, we basically remove seasonality from the equation, and we make this a 52-week-a-year production facility. So we're removing the seasonal worker component to this as well. These are full-time, high-paying career jobs that we're impacting. So thank you for the opportunity to present, and I'll be happy to take any questions when the time comes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lindy. Yep, it is somehow closer to the consumer. The food
Exactly.
closer to consumer. If you know the unique statistics, around 8 to 10% of a global warming is coming because of the food wastage only. So it was really nice to hear you. And then let's hear another scientist from our Premium Institute, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, about this topic. So over to Dr. Praveen. Fortunately, he is my name-mate. So Dr. Praveen, over to you. So Dr. Praveen, over to you. You have to unmute yourself, and my humble request, just honor to the timeline, because we are waiting to hear from water management kind of a profile. Yeah, go ahead.
So namaste to all of you, my co-panelist and Dr. Praveen and Roli and all other present in the session. So when we talk about this controlled environment agriculture, although it is not new to our country also, if we remember the wisdom of our forefathers decades ago, even I think hundreds of years ago, they were used to this technology, and they were using in some different way. And in modern days, it is quite refined now, and it is available in the form of protected agriculture or different type of polyhouses, glass houses, whatever we call it. But if we remember that the riverbank cultivation, off-season cultivation of cucurbits, in the ancient time, the pitcher irrigation system, which is our drip, now drip irrigation, is the refined form of that pitcher irrigation only. So these are the things which they have emerged with the passage of time, and as the time is going ahead, the technology is being refined. So urbanization is increasing, the food habits are changing, and of course the climate is changing every year. But we are unable to feel it in every year. When it is 4 or 5 years time, we feel it that something is changing. Whether it is a light pattern, it is changing, rain pattern, it is changing, or other climatic factors, they are changing. So with all this, I would like to say that this technology should be available to all. Until or unless it is not available to every farmer at the nook and corners of the villages, if we talk about India, because the present day technology, available technology, it is of high capital intensive technologies are there, like our Rajendra ji was talking about, Mr. Ken Long, he was talking about. So these are very, capital intensive technologies. And in our country, it is only the niche area. Even today, you see how much area is under this controlled environment agriculture. Even if you take any form of this agriculture, it is very, very limited. So there are other factors also. Like when we talk about all these structures or technologies, particularly talking to this polyhouse cultivation, or so we are only limited to 4 or 5 things. One is the structure, because we need different type of structure at per the location, whether it is hilly location, subtropical climate, or temperate climate, tropical climate, arid region, because we are having a varied climatic zones in our country. Second is the nursery structures, and third is the crop production technologies, and fourth is the seed production technologies. So we have to address, from crop production point of view, we have to address all these 4 issues. Vis-a-vis, when we talk about the vertical farming, hydroponics, rooftop gardening, aquaponics, whatever, I'm only talking about the plants. So we don't have suitable varieties as of now. Second, like Dr. Navesh told, the know-how. People are investing money. There are many people, like Dr. Praveen must be knowing, there are many calls that they have set up this hydroponic farm, but they are unable to take the produce. There are different type of problems with them. So these problems need to be addressed, whether by the academic institutions, research institutions, or the industry. But in my opinion, alone, nobody can do it. So there should be a collaboration. CII may take a lead, that research institutions, academic institutions, and industry should come together to address these issues. Second thing is the availability of varieties. For having good production, we need good varieties. Even though we don't have the varieties for vertical farming, for hydroponic system, even for rooftop gardening also. If you look at the Japan, Pasio tomatoes are available. You can grow in the 6-inch pot, but we don't have such varieties. So this is another issue. And then the seed cost, that is also most important when we talk of this protected agriculture. Take an example of cucumber, Parthenocarpic gynoecious cucumbers. The seed cost is very, very high. Even most of the tomato, cherry tomato varieties, they all are imported. So in our scenario, we need to address all these issues also. And one more point, that is the nutrient management in the plants, in the for crop production. So we need that. Many times I and Dr. Praveen, we discussed that issue, and that is most important issue. And even almost all the growers, either they are supplying overdosage of nutrients, or somewhere they are under supplying the under dosage of the nutrients to the plants. So both are creating the problems at one point of time. Then the package of practices. For even when we talk about all these controlled agriculture, environment agriculture, then IRI's name comes first, because we are the first having a Indo-Israel project on protected cultivation. So, but still we are lacking for this package of practice. We are not able to provide suitable package of practices to the farmers, because somebody is using low tunnels, somebody using walk-in tunnels, somebody using net houses. So for each and every structure, we need a suitable package of practices that should be there. With all these, Dr. Praveen and the CII. So I think I'm within the time limits. So thank you so much.
That's great. You are honoring being a name met for me. Okay, so you're making my life so much easier. So as Dr. Praveen said, it's really important if you see like the contribution for a success of any high-tech technique. So even this kind of a package of practice and standardization of these package of practices are really crucial. So until and unless we achieve that, we are not able to achieve what we are aspiring for, mitigating from these climate change. So he rightly said that standardization and the growing technique, the protocol for growing crop, is the most important. So now, without water, we cannot do anything. So let's hear a vast experience panelist, Surinder Makhija-ji, about his experience on playing with this water, how efficiently we can use this, because this is the most important and crucial resource available for humankind. So over to Makija ji.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. Thank you, CII. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all the panelists. Am I audible?
Very well. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Roliji, would you like to share my presentation that I will keep talking while the presentation goes on? You see, when you have the last speaker in any event, you have the advantage that most of the previous speakers have done your job, more than 80%. So I won't deep dive into the technology of protected cultivation or controlled cultivation in a controlled farming. I'll just briefly give you a snapshot of what Jan irrigation is all about, to give you a flavor of what we can do globally and within the country. And if we have the intent, we have the content. Roliji, will you help me with the, or shall I do it myself? I think I'll do it myself.
If you want, we can share it.
Shall I share it?
Whatever is convenient, sir. We also have a copy. If you want, we can share it, or else you can try and share it from your end.
I suggest you share that, please.
Okay.
Sorry. Now, there's no need to talk about controlled environment or protected cultivation. In fact, the two terms are somewhat not same. In my opinion, if you talk about controlled environment, controlled agriculture, then even drip irrigation also is a controlled farming. And we talk about protected cultivation, it has a different meaning altogether. My presentation, if I have, probably I'll be able to justify that with the slides. So what I was saying is about Jan irrigation. Jan irrigation, as you all know, is the second largest manufacturer of micro irrigation systems in the world. We have 10,000 employees, present in 130 countries. We have 30 factories, including 15 in India and 15 outside. Are you controlling it, Roliji?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can just keep on rolling it next one.
Sure.
When I tell you. So Jan irrigation, as I mentioned, has a very diverse portfolio of products. It's not merely irrigation. There's a lot more to Jan irrigation than irrigation itself. We are into micro irrigation. We are into protected cultivation. We are into food processing and everything that is farmer centric. And particularly the focus has been more on the small and marginal farmers in India and large farmers outside. Next one, please. That's the vision. I think I don't have to waste time on that. Next one, please. Now, while the discussions were going on, I have highlighted only one thing, that the climate risk is the mother of all challenges that we are facing. 2012, I was at Nebraska University of Lincoln there, and the presentation was focused only on one particular topic, that was climate change. That's about 10 years back. They said too hot, too cold, too wet, too dry. Of course, the temperature is going to be one of the biggest key factors to the agriculture production all over the world. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Roliji, next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is the one I was talking about. Too dry or too wet, too hot or too cold. Next one, please. Now, what exactly is precision agriculture, a controlled environment agriculture? We all know it's the calibrated and targeted application of all inputs in open field and protected environment. Why I said open field? That even if you're using a drip irrigation system with the plastic mulch, I call it as a controlled environment agriculture. But I think mostly what we are discussing here is about protected cultivation, and let us stick to that. Using drip irrigation and foggers allow this technology to have the highest nutrient and water use efficiency. Now, we are having somewhat a very misplaced idea about efficiency. No, efficiency was related to hitherto on the productivity side. But in case of, let us say, any enterprise, particularly a high value enterprise, a high investment in enterprise like protected cultivation or greenhouses or shade net houses or all the automation the previous speakers have said, it's about the highest value creation per unit of input, whether it is water, whether it is nutrient, whether it is energy, and it has to maximize the profit. Next slide, please. Roliji, yes. So I always say that per drop, more crop using drip irrigation. And this is probably the heart of any system that involves agriculture, irrigation, and providing the micronutrients to the plants. Next one, please. Next slide, please. This is again a controlled environment agriculture. Next one, please. Now, I think I need not really waste much of time on that. We all know high productivity and better quality assured. Next one, please. Next slide. Well, this is where I think it's very, very important in context of the price realization. Because what really happens in Indian context is that the farmers tend to grow, every farmer tends to grow what was most profitable crop in the previous year. And as a result, the value of the crop goes down, particularly we have seen in case of tomatoes, potatoes, onions. And this has brought pain to the eyes of, pain to the farmers and sometimes also the politicians. So using protected cultivation or controlled environment agriculture, we're able to prepone or delay the harvest, and therefore we are able to get a higher price realization. And this is one area I think the trainers and the people who are getting into this business must emphasize. We are India is probably the largest exporter of cucumber thanks to protected cultivation. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I don't think I have to teach the basics in this case now. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. So I think I'm not going to waste any precious time of the irrigation is doing. And at the end of my presentation, I have a 2-minute film on vertical farming of a project we have done in UK sometime back. Next one, please. This, of course, we have the best of the automation devices and fertigation system, which in fact is a very, very important component of any irrigation system, particularly greenhouse. Now, this is something very, very special for you guys. Please click again. Double click. Oh, dear me. Go back.
I think, Mr. Makija, what happened when you shared this presentation, the video file is in your computer. So if you want to play that, you have to just open your computer.
Yes.
Okay, and I will do that. I will do that. I will share that. Yeah. Just a minute. Yeah, you'll stop sharing, please. Roliji, you have to stop sharing. Is it my screen or your screen? No.
I've stopped sharing, so it must be your screen.
Okay, now it's my screen, and so I don't think I want to dwell much on anything except
sometimes these technologies become a challenge for us. So meantime, Mr. Makija is just trying to share his screen. It was really, really nice to hear from Prospect that, control.
Can you see it? Can you see it now?
Impervious to the weather. It's a 3-story
No,
tower of.
we are not able to see your screen. You have to share your screen first, and then you have to
4
share.
years in the panel, new farm is the largest of its type in the UK.
Mr. Makija, we are not able to see your screen.
What?
So first you share your screen. Bottom.
You're not able to see it?
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen.
Hey, we sent SARS correspondent David Kumar along to see how the first ever crop was looking.
Just coming.
Could this be the future of farming? Crops orbiting artificial light, filling the lobby of East End Foods in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It is pretty warm in here, I have to say, but obviously the plants, like this lettuce that's just drifting past, really seem to enjoy it. Now, at 3 stories high, they think here this is the largest urban farm of its type anywhere in the UK.
These trays contain the very first crops. It's all been built here in Britain, but it's being run with the help of expertise from India.
Parsley, lettuce, then coriander, spinach, all these leafy vegetables works very well here, no problem.
The trays of seedlings arrive here in the basement and are planted up and then moved to the urban farm itself. This is the first crop though, so does the system need any tweaks?
Definitely, there's a lot of tweaking going on. This is very much the first harvest. We are ready now to harvest a lot of the vegetables which are growing. It's very much experimental at the moment. Once we have got used to it and we've done a few crop cycles, I think that we're going to have some very interesting results.
So this is a plant's eye view as they slowly drift around the lobby. And if you're wondering why they move at all, well, it means the plants are evenly exposed to the artificial light and they grow up nice and straight. And all this is a 4-year passion project for the boss of East End Foods.
We urge people to cut out their meat by 10-15% and increase the vegetables. So you could go with the nutrient and grow it in your garden and enjoy the same kind of facility as indeed you see there.
One day, every big company might have a lobby full of lettuce for the local community. David Gregory Kumar, BBC Business Today, Birmingham.
Okay. Dr. Praveen, the idea was to give you what all we can do. And this was a project started about, I think, 6 years back in Birmingham, UK, and is still going very strong. So that's all about my presentation. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Makija. And Jan is a well-established name, so there is no need for sharing that what all Jan can do. Yes, of course, Jan is having the potential and ability to deliver what the globe is looking for. So we are running out of time. Let me wrap it up with a very brief note or summary what we discussed today. We started with Rajendra's an option of retractable roof where we can create a protected environment as well as we can utilize the natural environment. Then we heard from Dr. Naved what are the something possibilities in integrated pest management in protected cultivation. Then we heard Henley, yes, farm in box. Somehow we have one product in India in the name of farm in box where we are selling this live leafy lettuce. So it's really a great work they are doing on a Caribbean Iceland where there is a need of those type of a technology. And then we heard Dr. P.K. Singh, who really emphasizes, which is something like seed is the foundation for any agriculture. So somehow that is really required if we are looking to ensure the kind of a production in changing microclimate. And finally, we heard Mr. Makija from Jan irrigation, the potential, the ability, and how this whole protected cultivation or controlled environment cultivation, you can say, is emerging as going to be a solution provider for this changing climate. So I would like to thank all the panelists, and I'll just over to Rolly for taking this forward. Thank you, CIA. Thank you, all the panelists. Over to Rolly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for moderating this session and helping us wrap it up in time. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the speakers who joined us for this very insightful session. We had some very interesting ideas and insights coming out of the discussion that we had. As a follow-up to this session, we will also engage with the industry and see wherever there is interest to create more collaborative opportunities to take these innovations and these ideas forward. So we'll work on that along with all of you. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the delegates who joined us for this session. We will now close the day with the last plenary session that we have at 5:30. So that is the last session of the 3-day global conference that we had. And we look forward to all of you joining the session. Thank you once again for joining. Thanks a lot.
So Rolly, we are going to join with the same link, or it's going to be different?
No, there's a separate link. I'll send that link to all of you.
Please send.
Yeah, you can join on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all the panelists, CIA, and all who patiently heard us on the topic as a climate change. So let's change the whole mood to a fun or happy moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.